This morning, a suspect is in custody after yesterday's fatal shooting in West Hempstead. Nassau County Police and representatives have just given an update on the latest details of the incident. Let's take a look.
Yesterday, we saw really fine police work, and it doesn't happen by accident. It happens through true professionalism and through training. We also saw our school communities jump into action. Unfortunately, they have to train for this kind of thing as well. Fortunately, they do train for it, just as we do, lockdowns, lockouts. I spoke to education officials in the affected districts, and they tried to make it as normal a learning day as possible, given what was going on. In the meantime, outside on the streets, there was a gunman that was out there. And the fact that he was apprehended so quickly and so professionally while keeping the surrounding community safe, again, doesn't happen by accident. It's a testament to the professionalism and the training in the Nassau County Police Department, working in great cooperation with the Hempstead Police Department for the arrest. These relationships are incredibly important, that we continue to foster relationships with our communities inside the county, outside the county. And again, I am just so grateful for the outcome. However, we cannot forget that somebody has died and 2 other people are in the hospital. This is real life, and unfortunately, this reality came to our county yesterday. But I, personally, as a resident of this county, take comfort in our police department and our partnership with Hempstead and our partnerships with other law enforcement, that this suspect was apprehended so quickly and so professionally, keeping surrounding communities, students, and everybody else safe. Thank you.
Good morning. We're going to go quickly over some of the information I gave you yesterday to clarify some of it so we're all on the same page, and then we'll give it over to the district attorney's office. We'll make also a statement. So yesterday, again, the anniversary of Columbine, we warned about this. We warned about the birthday of Hitler. So these are things that we concern us. We look at this month as a very volatile month in the history of our country, in the history of policing and active shooters. So we are out there, we're prepared. We had extra patrols out there yesterday morning. So yesterday, about 11:18, the first phone call came in for shots fired in the Stop and Shop at 50 Cherry Valley Avenue in West Hempstead. First response is done by the 5th Precinct Garden City Police Department and our police medics, driving into the danger, going in there to take care of the witnesses. It's a chaotic scene when you first get there, not knowing if there is a shooter on site. That's why our Bureau of Special Operations comes rolling in next to sweep and clear the building. We got to get our victims out there. The patrol cops did an outstanding job. Again, Garden City Police Department assisting us on the front end of that situation. We found one male that was shot. He is 49 years of age, and his name will be given out in a few minutes. We have one male, age 50, that was shot multiple times in the shoulder. He is alive and recovering at a local hospital. We have one female, age 26, also shot in the shoulder. She is alive and recovering in the local hospital. At about 12:35 yesterday, we gave you the first press conference. And at that time, we were able to name the individual we believe as a person of interest. Gabriel DeWitt Wilson, age 31, and right now we're using the address of 100 Terrace Avenue because that's where we located him, but he has addresses in Long Beach and throughout Nassau County. We gave you a picture, we gave you a description. The phone calls came in, and it's important to remember the work that came. I got calls from local clergy that reached out, local politicians that knew this young man, and I got calls from our community that came in and gave us information about the whereabouts of this individual. It brought us to 100 Terrace Avenue, where cooperating in great cooperation with the Hempstead Police Department, we went in, we secured the building, and at some point he tried to make a run down through the first floor. He was trapped like a mouse in a trap by the fact of Hempstead locking and shutting one door as he was going in that direction, and our BSO team coming from behind, which was able then to get him in control and arrested. He has an arrest history going back to July of 2006. He had an assault first arrest. May 3rd of 2011, attempt to distribute narcotics. These are all Baltimore, Maryland arrests. April 21st of 2014, he was engaged in a gun battle down in Baltimore. He was shot in the head. He was arrested for attempted murder second and possession of a firearm. I don't know the outcome of that case. It is still ongoing. but he was out in the streets here in Nassau County. On May 13th in 2016, we took him for a mental health crisis down in Roosevelt, and in 2019 he was taken again for another mental health crisis call in Long Beach. It's important for everybody to remember, and this is the part I hope you don't cut out of your press conference here. The men and women in law enforcement have been challenged every single day over the last year and a half. And we've come in Nassau County, what you saw was the cooperation between community and police. It was the cooperation between law enforcement agencies in Nassau County, the 18 villages and 2 cities, all of us working together. Great police department in Hempstead Police Department. Great police department in Garden City Police Department. We got together, NYPD came out to assist us in a way that you couldn't imagine, with the support on the intelligence. Our intelligence community getting together. All of it is what a well-trained, well-disciplined police department looks like. And that's all of us here in Nassau County. And that's cooperation with our communities. That we were able to reach across to New York City and get intelligence, to Suffolk County and get intelligence, working with the men and women on the boots on the ground, cooperating and working together, that we arrested an armed, dangerous suspect that just shot 3 people without incident. Nobody got hurt, including my cops, and that's the important thing to me. But we were able to arrest that individual and place him in custody. Well, cooperation came from levels of the FBI, ATF, they were on scene, U.S. Marshal, U.S. Attorney's Office, but there is no better partner in law enforcement that we have than Madeline Singas in the DA's office and the men and women that work in that DA's office, that work with us day in and day out to make sure that we do right by serving the people of this county. I'd like to introduce Madeline Singas from the District Attorney's Office.
Thank you. Good morning. Yesterday we heard the 2 most dreaded words that we can hear in law enforcement: active shooter. And with this defendant's actions, we have joined the scores of American communities that have faced ravaging gun violence and mass shootings. It has come to Nassau County. My heart goes out to the family of the deceased, who was, by all accounts, a loving member of his family, his community. Our thoughts go out to the victims who are recovering from their physical wounds and their traumatic wounds, and we wish for them a speedy and full recovery. I commend every member, man and woman, in law enforcement that was involved with this takedown yesterday. As the Commissioner has said, this was truly remarkable, that the arrest of an armed suspect who was inside an apartment building that was full of civilians was taken down, arrested, without incident, without further violence, is a testament to this police department and to the men and women in law enforcement. So I commend Commissioner Ryder and members of Nassau County Police Department, the Hempstead Police Department, Garden City, ATF, all of the collaborative partners that we have that ensured that this arrest could happen without further injury and without further incident. I'm very proud of the work of law enforcement. Minutes earlier today, this defendant was arraigned on murder 2 charges and several attempted murder charges. He was remanded. He will appear in court again on Friday. Once convicted of the top count, he will face incarceration of 25 years to life in prison. I want to make sure that the message is loud and clear. If you engage in this behavior in Nassau County, be prepared to face the full force of the law. Thank you.
Thank you. I may repeat some of the items you might have just heard. Commanding Officer of the Homicide Squad. So I'll just bring you through the events yesterday. Yesterday, on April 20th, at about 11:19 a.m., the subject, Gabriel Wilson, last known address is in Long Beach and may be laying his head down in Terrace Avenue as well. He entered the West Hempstead Stop and Shop supermarket. This is his place of employment. He is a shopping cart gatherer there. Gabriel Wilson responded directly to the second floor management offices. In that area, he intentionally fired a .380 semi-automatic handgun 7 times at 5 different people. As you heard, one male, 49, his name is Ray Wishropp, that's W-I-S-H-R-O-P-P. He's 49, he's from Valley Stream. He succumbed to injuries from that gunfire. Another 50-year-old male, he's from Bethpage. He was shot 3 times, once in the face, it grazed his cheek, and twice in the shoulder. A 26-year-old female from Bayshore was shot 1 time, also in the shoulder, and 2 other 47-year-old females were uninjured. Gabrielle Wilson, after shooting these 5 individuals, fled the Stop and Shop on foot on Hempstead Turnpike, heading eastbound back towards the Hempstead area. As you are aware, as the Commissioner said, an emergency broadcast alert was immediately sent out once the subject was identified by workers at the scene. The investigation calls to 911 led us to Terrace Avenue. And to help the Hempstead Village PD, our electronics and BSO, surveillance video on that block was reviewed, and he was identified. He was seen entering the 100 Terrace Avenue building and entering 2 apartments there. While BSO, ESU, and Hempstead surrounded the building and contained the incident, the situation with a perimeter, we monitored the situation where this subject was. As the Commissioner said, later on in the afternoon, he exited the apartment, attempted to leave the building, and was apprehended at 3:02 in the afternoon. That subject was subsequently taken back here to Mineola. His arrest was processed, and he was arraigned today, as the district attorney said. He's charged with 1 count of murder 2nd degree and 4 counts of attempted murder for the 4 other individuals. He has an extensive criminal history down in Maryland from 2006 to 2016. Those charges include weapons, attempted murder, violent assaults. We don't believe he was up here in this area until the 2017 time. He originally worked in Stop and Shop in Long Beach, and 2 years later, he started working in West Hempstead. This dispute, many of you asking about a motive. So Gabrielle was a troubled employee, and in the months previous to this incident, he was having unwanted advances toward females that worked there. He was having disputes with other workers and threatening them, and was brought into the management office on several times. Yesterday, he originally went into that managing office and spoke to the 50-year-old manager about transferring to Hempstead Stop and Shop. It was non-confrontational at that time. It lasted approximately 1 to 2 minutes, that conversation. He left the building without any violence or anything else being said. 40 minutes later, he returned to the building, and you know the rest. He walked right up to the offices, opened fire on the 5 individuals there, causing the death and the injuries that we stated.